What's up, guys? Tim Little, Matt Allen. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin and welcome back to our holiday buyer's guide series. Today's video, rod and reel combos for $300.
Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Tactical Bassin. While these buyer's guides are going, these videos are rolling every day. If you've missed the previous videos, Sunday we did $100 combos. Yesterday we did 200. Today's 300, 400, 500, and beyond. We're just gonna keep rolling to get them all fit in here for you guys. Here at $300 combos, you're looking at amazing value, right? Sensitivity goes up, quality goes up, weight goes down. There are some awesome options. We're excited about these. Why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I'll kick us off. What's cool about this price point is now we're getting into mine and your everyday use rods. Even though we fish everything from high end to $100 budget, we fish everything in between. Now we're getting into our everyday bread and butter. I will kick it off. Just like every video, we started with spinning, so I'm gonna go with spinning again. This is the Halo KS2 Elite. What I really like about this lineup, it's, I don't know if you guys can see this on camera or not, but it is an extremely quick tapered rod tip. So any of your finesse fishing techniques, your Ned rigs, your drop shots, your Nico rigging, weightless Senko, that sort of stuff, it's got a super soft tip, really light tip, but then it's got some backbone to it. And I went ahead and paired that up with this is the Revo SX. Now the reason I included this in this combo is it is on closeout and it is extremely cheap compared to what it was. Together, paired up, this is a really light combo and a really sensitive combo.
My first one, I'm going with a reel I talked about yesterday. This is the Shimano Miraval. That's a new reel paired up to the St. Croix Victory. The reel is fairly inexpensive, which is how I got the combo to work in the price. But the Miraval is an amazing reel. They just came out. We saw them at iCast for the first time. This reel weighs more than an ounce less than all the similarly priced reels, which is incredible because as a result, it pairs up beautifully to all sorts of things to lighten up your combos. So this paired to a Victory is a killer combo. Victory has a ton of rod lines in it, right? So many different models. And that's something you'll see at this price point as you get into those lines where they're do everything lines of rods, from heavy flipping and swim baits to drop shot and Ned rig and everywhere in between. And that's what you'll see here with Victory. They're killer rods, great warranty on those rods, made in the US, paired to that Miraval, killer combo for the price.
Yeah, that Victory lineup, I'm going to touch on it here in a little bit with my bait casters, but that is an awesome lineup. It was one of those lineups that we started playing with because you could get them during COVID when you couldn't get a lot of other things.
Get anything.
They were available, and I've really fallen in love with that line as well. All right, next up for me, one last spinning combo, because you got to have a couple different combos as you get into that technique specific stuff like Matt talked about. You know, you got to have a drop shot rod, you got to have some kind of Ned rig or light finesse setup, and then something kind of in that medium light to medium. I went ahead and paired up a Corrado spinning rod with the Shimano Ultegra. You know, now you're getting into that little bit nicer reel, more of that buttery smooth reel. This is a combo that I could fish anytime.
Right.
It's sensitive, it's light. You know, the Corrado, they kind of revamped it a couple 2 years ago, more in line with the Zodius, but Spiral X rod, super smooth drag system on the reel. So if you're looking to get multiple finesse setups, this Corrado paired up with that Ultegra will get you covered.
My next one, and again, they're in no particular order. I'm jumping into casting now. This is that same Halo KS2 Elite, and I paired it up to a Lose, the KVD. This combo, let me speak to the rod first. These rods, like Tim said, they are very sensitive. They have light tip sections on them, which makes them even beyond sensitive, if you're a rod watcher, right? You watch for bites. It's so easy to detect bites on them. I put a ton of time into these rods over the past year, both spinning and casting, and love them. I've caught big largies on them. I actually took one of these out, not this model, but one that was heavier. I took a 7.5 heavy, caught a bunch of great big striper on it. Just had a blast with these rods. They're very light. They've got a good assortment. I think they've got 5 casting rods and 3 spinning rods. They've got a good assortment of strong actions, like heavies, medium heavies for the casting. Really good all-around rods. And then that reel, for the price, is a really good option. It's got great line capacity, but it has a really, really dialed-in adjustment. So you can really, really dial that reel in, and it's a great pairing. It's a light rod with a light reel, and it fits the price point beautifully.
All right. Next up for me, I'll save my victory for last. I'm going with the Shimano Intenza. Now, I talked about this in yesterday's video, but it had a different reel on it. The Intenza is a lineup for me that it's a completely different lineup than all the other Shimano, like the SLXs and stuff. It's got different grip. It's got different colorways, graphics, for lack of a better term. But this is a lineup that has really technique-specific rods. You know, your glass rods for cranking. If you're into cranking on glass, 7.6 heavy glass. You know, if you want a 7'6" spinning rod, you can get those in this lineup.
Yeah, a hair jig rod for like $130 or $140.
Right. So, and then I went ahead and paired that up with that Corrado 150. And those of you guys that haven't tried this reel out, it's amazing, especially for the price. That 150 size, little downscale, downsized reel fits really good in the hand, and you can send baits a country mile. But this is if you want to be brand specific, this is an awesome combo. Now, with that said, we say brand specific. Hopefully, you guys can tell we got a ton of different brands, we really try to branch out and try different things. With COVID the last couple years, it was really hard to get inventory, let's be honest. So it allowed us to branch out to
try all sorts of stuff.
We always pick up stuff. I was at a tackle shop the other day and they're like, wait, you're buying more stuff? I'm like, yeah, we're always buying more stuff. So it's allowed us to really branch out and really try out some of these things, you know, like the halo rods. Matt's talking about catching 7-pound largemouth and big striper on it. I mean, it's stuff we actually use.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, on that rant, so I was actually organizing the other day, which is something I don't do a lot of, right? My tackle since COVID and since we moved has been a disaster, right? Because you're just piling things up. Just trying to sort out a new living situation is a whole different ball game. So the other day, I finally got my rods organized. I have 32 brands of rods. When we say we reach out across the market, we really do attempt to fish everything, because that's the only way to know what people need. When we get those comments in the description and the guy is like, well, what about this Halo and this Shimano and this Daiwa, and we go out and get all the ones that guy just asked about and go flex them and compare them and come back and give an answer. We put a ton of time into this because I think that was something that was completely lacking in the market. Someone had to step into that space. Someone had to say, let's be fair and compare all of these things.
Right.
And we're just insane enough and tackle junkies enough to be willing to take that on.
And it's hard. It's a lot of work because
it's a ton of work.
I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I have my favorites. Like, I could pick 10 or 12 rod and reel combos that I could fish with all the time. But it's like, oh, I'm going out fishing today. I'm going to try this rod. Or I'm going to try this reel for this technique. And it actually kind of stretches us as anglers, and it allows us to learn, find the niches, what works well, and what we like and what we don't like.
It's going to be a race to see who can comment, Tim, what are those 10 to 12 combos first down in the comment section. Okay, so my last one here. This is, we're losing rods.
Yep.
There you go. You can't break them, even when you dump them. My last one is a Shimano Corrado casting rod. I love these rods. I talked yesterday how in SLX, you've got all of the models from the higher end coming back down the line. Same thing with Corrado. So in Corrado, this is specifically a 610 medium. I grabbed it on purpose. I love the X-Pride 610 medium. That's my jerkbait rod. It's my bread and butter. It's also amazing for throwing blade baits, tailspins, topwater, right? In the Corrado, you're saving a bunch of money and you have that exact same action. I paired that up, speaking of saving money, with the Shimano SLX, but in the 70 MGL. That reel is bad. I don't know what Shimano has done, because even though I'm a tackle junkie, I'm not geeky on specs. I'm not good at that stuff. Tim is. All of the MGL reels, whether that's the SLX 70 MGL, a Corrado 70 MGL, that Corrado 150 MGL, you can spool these things.
Yeah.
It's insane. Every one of the MGLs reaches completely out of its price point. So that 70 MGL paired on a Corrado is a freakishly high-end combo at 300 bucks. Plus or minus. I don't know exactly where it is, but with the sale, we're there.
All right, last but not least for me, I too am talking about the Victory. The St. Croix rods have, the last few years, I spent more and more time using the St. Croix stuff. And completely honest, back in the day, I didn't like the bulbous handle they had on them. I know the big crankers and stuff that we used to talk about, I would deal with it. But these new lines of Victory, new lines of St. Croix rods have been stellar. The Victory, like Matt said, made in the United States. I think there's something like, and don't quote me on it, but I want to say there's something like 25
There's
or
so many
26 models in this line alone. So if you need a hair jig rod, or you need a ripping chatterbait rod, you know, they have everything labeled on here. You can do your entire lineup, all Victory. I know I've been spooning on them. I've been throwing big flutter spoons. I've been swim baiting. I have a little 610 media, like for drop shot. I mean, I have a bunch of these that I really like fishing, and then paired up with the Tatula 150. Talked about the Corrado 150 earlier, so now we got the Tatula 150. Just another great smooth reel in that more compact size. But the St. Croix Victory lineup, it's a win-win. They're not too expensive, doesn't break the bank, and you can get really technique specific rods. I'd probably say St. Croix is probably the best at technique specific. They have,
it's crazy.
I mean, like I said, 20 plus models in this lineup alone.
Yeah. You've got to figure out what the difference is between a 7.3 medium heavy moderate, a 7.3 medium heavy fast,
right,
extra fast, right? It's unbelievable. They're so dialed in. Guys, at this price point, there are so many great options. We worked really hard to narrow down the standouts, the ones that for us are truly those bang for the buck combos that offer you something different, whether that be a reel that can send it or a rod that is just a whole nother jump up in sensitivity. There are some great options here. We're so excited to keep this Buyer's Guide series rolling. Tomorrow's $400 combos, the next day's $500 combos, and we get into the high end before we switch gears out of rods and get into everything else. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.